You eat these foods all the time, like every single week. But what if I told you? Some of them were invented by accident, some were created for war, and one of them was originally considered dangerous to eat? And here's the twist. The foods you think are normal today were once weird, controversial, even rejected. Today we're uncovering the hidden origins of 10 foods you eat every week. And by the end, you might never look at your plate the same way again. Bread feels ancient, basic, almost boring. But its origin? Pure accident. Thousands of years ago, early humans were grinding grains into paste. One day, that paste got left out. Wild yeast in the air started fermenting it. Instead of throwing it away, they cooked it. And just like that, bread was born. But here's what's crazy. That same natural fermentation process is still used today in sourdough, meaning every loaf carries a bit of the past with it. Eggs are everywhere, breakfast staple. But scrambling them? That came much later. In ancient kitchens, eggs were usually boiled or fried whole. Scrambling was discovered by cooks experimenting with heat and texture. They realized breaking the egg created something softer, faster, easier to eat, and that mattered. Because in fast-moving societies, quick food wins. That's why scrambled eggs stuck. You think they're French? They're not. French fries actually trace back to Belgium. Villagers used to fry small fish, but during winter, rivers froze. So they cut potatoes into fish shapes and fried those instead. Same technique, different ingredient. And that survival hack turned into one of the most popular foods on Earth. Most people think pasta came from Italy, but, the story is actually more complicated than that. Noodles existed in ancient China thousands of years earlier. When trade routes opened, ideas traveled. Different cultures adapted the concept. Italy didn't invent pasta, they perfected it, turning a simple idea into hundreds of shapes, textures, and traditions. The burger feels like peak American food, but its roots go back to Europe, specifically Hamburg, Germany. Minced beef was popular there. When immigrants brought it to America, it evolved. Someone had the idea to put it between bread, simple, portable, perfect. And just like that, the modern burger was born. Pizza wasn't always loved. In fact, it was once considered food for the poor. In Naples, Italy, people added tomatoes to flatbread because it was cheap. But tomatoes were controversial. Many believed they were poisonous. So imagine this. A food made for poor people, with an ingredient people feared. And now, pizza is one of the most consumed foods in the world. So, tacos didn't actually start out in restaurants, They started in the mines. Mexican silver miners used these small explosive charges, wrapped up in paper. They called them tacos. Later on, that same name got used for food. Food wrapped up in tortillas. Simple, functional, portable. Built for working people. And today, well, it's global street food. This one really changed modern life. Instant noodles were invented after World War II in Japan. Food shortages were everywhere, and people needed something cheap, fast, and filling. So one man created noodles that could cook in just a few minutes. At first, people didn't trust it. Too convenient, too different. But now, it's eaten billions of times every year. The sandwich was actually created for convenience. An English nobleman didn't want to stop playing cards to eat, so he asked for meat placed between bread. No utensils, no interruption. And that idea? It totally changed how the world eats. Because sometimes, the best inventions come from laziness. Chocolate wasn't always sweet, believe it or not. Originally, it was bitter. Ancient civilizations drank it as a spiced beverage. No sugar, no milk, just strong, intense flavor. It was even used in rituals. Over time, people added sugar, milk, and new processing techniques. transforming it into the chocolate we know today, from sacred drink to everyday snack. So the next time you eat bread, fries, pizza, chocolate, just remember, these aren't just foods. They're accidents, survival hacks, cultural exchanges. Each one carries a story that traveled across centuries, just to end up on your plate. And now, I've got to ask you, which one surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more deep dives into the foods you thought you already knew. Because clearly, there's always more to the story.